Everyone? Welcome to 2026. So I'm doing this actually a little earlier than I feel like I've been doing the past few months. A little ahead of schedule this time around. But I'll be doing my January review. It's Friday night, January 30th. I actually have to travel for work. Can't bring this stuff with me for the next week, so figured I'd kind of get ahead of it. I don't have all the numbers, but predominantly everything. I mean, basically everything's in. So, all right. Overall, same sort of setup as usual. We'll go through how much I was able to invest this month. Quick dashboard overview, portfolio breakdown, which there have been some changes. Annual goals update, investment graphs, and then my January dividend income. So we'll start off by diving into the monthly IEI, monthly income expense investments page. So I track everything that I spend, all my transactions every month, right there into different categories. And that way it just kind of gives me a general understanding of where I'm at month over month and start to really understand my spending habits. And honestly, since I've started doing this, I feel like my spending has become more dialed in and I'm wasting less money overall, which has been awesome. Yeah, the only thing I really don't have from this month right now is my quote unquote dividend income. It's not really dividend income. It's just the interest payment from my SPACs accounts, the money market funds on Fidelity platform. Just usually that populates. It'll probably populate tomorrow, but I'm traveling, so just wanted to get it over with. Yeah, so for the month of January, I was able to have a healthy income. Salary did great, did good commissions at the end of the year. That's kind of the beauty of sales, especially if like you're making up for lost commissions and things like that. It can sometimes boost up your income in the following month. The major thing is hopefully you don't let that kind of get to your head and think that you have all this money to spend, because it's not like this every single month. But was able to bring in $20,000. Expenses overall for the month were $2,800. So overall net positive of $17,000. When you look at my total investments, so between my brokerage account, my 401k, Acorns, my HSA, and my Roth 401k, which is brand new this year, altogether my investment total was 8,300. So percentage of my income, I invested 41%. Ideally, I like to try to keep this above 20 to 25%. I pay attention to the Money Guy show. Love that show. Feel like I tune in every week, especially when I'm on the road driving or whatever, listen to their podcasts. That's kind of my goal. Every single month, try to invest somewhere in that 20 to 25%. I love when I get more, but yeah, always feels good if I'm in that 40% range. And obviously, I could have done even more so, but put a lot into my savings for the time being. And I'll probably get into that a little bit more in the near future. All right, dashboard overview. So, where am I at for the month of January? My portfolio, my dividend brokerage account portfolio is at $78,000. It's kind of been an up and down month. Overall, the market's seen obviously a little bit of an uptick, which has been great, but some of my positions have lost value, which actually, sort of in this earnings season, I actually looked at some of the information and realized I might want to make a little bit of a switch in my account. Luckily, didn't lose money on it, but I mean, I could have gained a lot more at one point in time. Still at 20 holdings. Estimated yearly dividend income is roughly the same. When I really look back at the month and where I invested in this brokerage account, I mainly went into a few shares of Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF and then DGRO, and a little bit into FXAIX. SCHD is having an unbelievable month. They've hit new all-time highs, but just didn't feel like it was really the right time to be continuing to invest in that, considering how much it's run up over the past month or so. I just figured I'd take a little pause there. I did a lot last year into SCHD, but wanted to focus more on DGRO and FXAIX, and the Bitcoin ETF too, a little bit. I'm young. I feel like it's kind of pointless to not invest a little bit if I can, not like an outrageous amount of money, but enough just to see what happens. So here are all of my accounts. My 401k, my original 401k from my old employers at nearly $125,000. My current employer 401k is at $78,000. Roth IRA just under $20,000, which I can't contribute to anymore. Acorns $2,300, and my new Roth 401k is at $3,200. So altogether, my total investments $306,000. My cash position's at $200,000. So I'm 40% cash, as I say every month, and nothing's changed. I am planning to buy a house, and I wanted to put a large percent down. I live in a high cost of living area, and just honestly can't find any deal worth spending the money on right now. Try to go to an open house every week and just can't find anything that I really want to be spending my money on. So just kind of sitting on it, which isn't the best. Obviously, it probably could be doing a lot better in investments. Would love to hear if anyone has some suggestions on what to do with that. What I did end up doing was moving a lot of this cash into a money market fund on Fidelity. I opened up a little, like one of their sort of bank accounts, quote unquote, to put a lot of my money into, keep it separate from my trading accounts, and just invested into money market fund where I'm getting in that 3 to 4% range on my money. At least I'm getting something rather than nothing in my checking account, where I'm getting like 0.005% on my money. So that's kind of where I'm at now with this cash, still investing. And honestly, I'm holding out a little bit, just to see what happens over the next few months. I know you shouldn't be necessarily timing the market, but you listen to people like Tom Lee discuss that, like, there's the chance for a little bit of a bear market on the early first half of the year, and the year around that 7,800 range for S&P, which I feel like there's an opportunity for that as well. With the new Fed chair coming in, usually that can lead to some wobbly markets. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of be in a position where I could invest a little bit more if my positions were to trade from a little bit of a lower position rather than these all-time highs. And so overall, at my annual goals, I'm pretty sure I'm going in the right direction. Yeah, overall minus portfolio breakdown. But annual goals, let's just dive through this really quick. Nothing's really changed. Still want to hit 350,000 by the end of the year. That, if I hit it 6 months in or even sooner, I might change that to 400,000, which would be a lot. Maybe 375. We'll see. But I already completed one of my goals for the year. Open a high yield savings account. Never had one, which is what I did on the Fidelity page. So was already able to complete one of my goals for the year, which is great. 2.7% of the way towards my annual investment goal into that dividend brokerage account that I have, and just kind of keep on keeping on, get there eventually. So anyway, the changes this year in my portfolio currently. So the main thing was I sold out of UNH. I got out just a little bit profit, $43. And honestly, at one point, I feel like I was up $500, $600 on that position, which is tough. But yeah, honestly, I just felt like I lost some confidence in the position off of their earnings a few days ago. And, when I just honestly Googled this, and I think Gemini just came up with this response so you could see some of it. But really, a few things that stood out to me were the announcement from CMS on virtually no increases in their Medicare Advantage rates, which came out well below what was anticipated. So I think that just the year 2026 is going to be tumultuous at the very least. Sure, it'll probably turn around at some point, but I just wasn't really feeling super confident. You follow these people on Twitter and all that, or X, and like the people that track all these politicians who are buying and selling stocks, like the Pelosi tracker. It's wild. But of course, there was one representative who sold out of like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of UNH a day before their earnings came out, and what do you know? It dropped 20%, and so I just feel like obviously that's tough luck. I wish I could have gotten out sooner. I wish I knew what he knew. Probably with this CMS data coming out, but just felt like it was kind of not worth it for me right now. I feel like there's better opportunities out there, and so I decided cut bait, move out of it, and go into MasterCard, which was something that I had thought about, have been thinking about for a little while. And virtually what I did, I just took the 2,500 that I had invested into UNH and I just threw it into MasterCard. So now that's where I'm at. I did it right before their earnings came out, knowing that, their stock has been going down pretty considerably over the past 6 months, 1 month. And a lot of that was due to when, Trump mentioned the 10% interest rate limit on credit cards. But that's not even really where MasterCard's profits are really coming from. There's a lot of other pillars for MasterCard in general. When you look at the overview, it's very simple. Like, why is MasterCard positioned for success? And boom, this is what you're getting. If you just Google this stuff, it's pretty easy. But they're starting to do more AI integration. It's more value-added services that they're when they're partnering with different businesses and all of that. So I think that they're in a really unique position to continue to succeed over the next 5-10 years. And so I felt more comfortable putting some money into MasterCard and seeing where things go from there. I think that that's actually a position that I'll probably continue to add to. If the market continues trading lower at any point, I'll probably continue to invest in that position and continue to build this. Compared to like Equifax, I'm kind of riding it out for right now, rather than continuing to invest. I know their earnings are coming up at the beginning of February, but yeah, just kind of wanted to stay low. I bought in, and then some news came out, and yeah, that was a while back. But just kind of seeing where things lie right now with that position. But MasterCard's the new one. That'll be fun to kind of continue to track moving forward. Obviously, DGRO is one of my main positions. Google has done extremely well since I bought in. Wish I had tripled down at that point, up 100%. And then you look at SCHD has gone up now 10%. So I actually finally eclipsed the 20,000 mark with that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, didn't even realize that till right this moment. So, yeah, that's a unique moment. Really happy with that position. That's just kind of tried and true in my mind. And it will continue to be a mainstay in my portfolio. HIMS has taken a nasty hit recently. Should have sold out when I doubled up on that position, but whatever. I think they can turn this around. I think that it's, as you can see from the 1 year trend line, it fluctuates a lot. I think that, I'm pretty sure they have Super Bowl commercials coming out. They're probably going to see a bump from that for some reason. So we'll see what happens. But that'll be a position that I'll probably sell out of at some point in time. Just not sure when. Um, what else do we got? Annual goals, investment graphs. So yeah, I love checking these out all the time. Here is where I'm at now. You look back 6+ months ago, right? In June of 2025, that's really when I started diving into this brokerage account, and giving it my attention again. But I started at 32,000. Originally, that was money that I was going to use to buy a wedding ring, and decided, hey, you know what? I am going to leave this invested, and use cash to pay, and start focusing on this and using this to continue to build wealth for the future. Now in 7 months, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 months, I've over doubled it. And I do love looking at these graphs just to kind of see how things change over time. My total investments over time, has gone up $100,000 in those 7 months, nearly exactly. So pretty cool. Just going to continue to invest as much as possible, just month over month, whether the market's going down or going up. I have my 401ks, my Roth 401k now, this brokerage account, everything. So I just continue to invest and see what happens. And then finally, my dividend calendar, which is a flat 0. I have no dividends for the month of January, and that tracks again with last year in January. So this is my dividend history. This is how much I was paid last year in 2025. $910 total dollars from my dividends. SPACs total was $1,800, and the most I got, obviously the interest was higher back in that June, July time frame in September, and rates have started coming down. But now I'm at $138,000 in this. So that will obviously be higher interest. We'll see how the year plays out with that, considering the start of the year last year, I only had a few $1,000s in it in the account when I was just in that $30,000 range. But yeah, pretty happy overall. Obviously no dividends, so nothing crazy for this month. Still zeros across the board, but really happy with the start of the year. Really happy with my savings rate, and keeping my expenses extremely low. That was nice. And we'll go from there. So yeah, please leave some comments down below if there are any positions that kind of stand out to you, what you think the market's going to do for the year 2026. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Would love to hear any sort of opinions out there, or what they think of my portfolio, what I should be selling out of, what I should be getting rid of as soon as possible. Obviously, I'm holding on to some of these losers. Well, not this one, but yeah, these losers for sure. So who knows? We'll see. But thanks for listening in. Thanks for checking them out if you're a repeat viewer, and see you guys soon. Peace.